It seems like weather won't let me take my main scope out. So it's time to take it in and do some measurements. My name is Christian, this is Astronaut, and if you've got a cup of tea nearby, now would be an excellent time to grab it because we're about to go into rather unnecessary levels of detail. On the surface, this might seem fairly straightforward.
In reality, photography of any kind is mostly about experience, trial, and the slow process of discovering
what actually works.
Astrophotography is no exception. Image quality improves through repetition, comparison, and the occasional moment of regret when you realize you should have done things differently.
In my view, a corrector is not optional. And for what I have experienced, adding it to your optical train will convert your very capable optical telescope into a fair astrograph.
Most telescopes introduce optical aberrations for a number of reasons, most commonly coma, astigmatism, and chromatic aberration.
This relatively small investment can dramatically increase your image quality. You may feel it's unnecessary at first, particularly if you're trying to remain financially responsible, but once you've used one, it becomes rather difficult to go back, and you'll need to match your telescope to your corrector. Not every telescope has a corrector, keep that in mind. Let's quickly go through the main options I considered. Ever since buying the SE8, I've been quietly dreaming about one of these. Unfortunately, between the price and fiddling with the corrector plate, reality set in. Arizona makes excellent products, but importing them from the US to Europe at the moment is, let's say, optimistic. Very similar to the Celestron version and often said to perform better. That said, without solid data, I wouldn't justify spending that much money on that. Shorter focal length, promising on paper and currently unavailable. It makes more sense to buy an entirely new telescope. This is the one I've got, and it felt like a reasonable price for the quality and for my need. These two seem either a cheaper knockoff of the Celestron or they're made in the same factory, and I am paying more for the branding while being the same material. It converts my rather slow f10 system into a much more agreeable f6.3. It clears the coma aberrations and shorter focal length. Well, it's not a pro, but it's a feature. And cons. It introduces chromatic aberration into your system. Not all of them, but in this case, this one does. And it is required a distance from the reducer, from the lens to the sensor of 105 millimeters, and that's back focus, which brings us neatly to the main issue. Back focus can be either pleasantly simple or impressively frustrating. It depends entirely on your imaging train and how many accessories you've decided you absolutely need. In my case, adding the ZWO OAG-L L, the L version, without an electronic filter wheel, made things considerably more complicated. ZWO provide recommended configurations, but they don't always align with my needs. Best case scenario, if you're using a DSLR or mirrorless camera, you only need two things: the Celestron T2 adapter and the long tube. It's a 50mm spacer. The drawback is that your only filter option is clip-in or clip-on filters, which I'm not particularly fond of. So let's go through my full light train. Brace yourself.
I screened the first cut for my assistant and immediately knew we had a problem. There was so much detail in it. Twist practically needed an exorcist. So I took my cat's advice and trimmed it down to the good stuff. I know. You were really looking forward to watching me spend hours obsessing over washers, spacers and adapters. But we'll leave that for another time. Celestron 6.3 reducer. That's the first element. William Optics SCT adapter. Explore Scientific spacer. ZWO off-axis guider L. ZWO D70 adapter. ASToptics Adapter. ZWO Filter Drawer. The ZWO 294MC Pro. I always doubt myself. I always think that I do things wrong. And no, this time I nailed it. Whenever I image without the reducer, usually in an attempt to enjoy the full 2032mm focal length, I regret it almost instantly. Once you've seen the improvement, there's no turning back. The importance of keeping the correct back focus distance is crucial. Once your image quality starts to improve, I mean, you could have done it right from the beginning, but where's the fun in that? This way, we have learned about lenses and optical aberrations. Despite the added complexity, extra cost, and the inevitable spacing issues, I still consider this reducer a necessary part of my setup. Hopefully, this has been useful and cleared up many questions. If you've ever made similar mistakes or found better solutions, I'd genuinely like to hear about them.
As always, thanks for watching and good nights.